Here we go. We find ourselves at week 12 of the NFL season, and the Philadelphia Eagles are coming off the back-to-back embarrassing losses. There is one positive about this Eagles vs. Seahawks matchup. It's not at 1 o'clock. What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. If you are new to the channel and love talking Philly sports every single day, we'll go right ahead and hit that subscribe button and make sure you turn on post notifications so you know when I go live or drop some content instantly. On that note, if you rock with Philly Mike and know that the Eagles are in a bad situation, smash that like button. With all that being said, let's just jump into the Eagles vs. Seahawks preview. Now, when I look at this game, the one thing I can just come out and say, and I kind of noted on that earlier, is that luckily it's not a 1 o'clock game on Sunday because we've been getting embarrassed on 1 o'clock games, no matter who we really play. And take this for whatever you want, but the Philadelphia Eagles in 2020 are undefeated. I repeat, undefeated in primetime night games. I mean, when you look at our opponents, yeah, it was the Mullins, a backup quarterback for the 49ers, Ben DiNucci, and the New York Giants the first time. So you can look at them opponents and say, bad football teams. But at the end of the day, we've played some bad football teams at 1 o'clock and got our butts whooped. So the one thing is, the Philadelphia Eagles do not lose on primetime games. I don't know if it's going to carry over because we got a real tough opponent in Seattle where they do a lot of things good, but they also do a lot of things bad. So we are going to get into some of that stuff. Let's start with some key notes that I got from this game and just some of the things we want to talk about. Let's start with the Seattle Seahawks pass rush. Week 11, they had 3 sacks, 7 quarterback hits. Since Carlos Dunlap has been there, the 3 games he's been there, they have been a better pass rushing team. He actually has at least 1 sack every game he's played as a Seattle Seahawk. And like I said, week 11 against the Arizona Cardinals, 3 sacks, 7 quarterbacks hits, and you know the Philadelphia Eagles story. We're coming off a 5 sacked allowed 10 quarterback hit game against the Myles Garrett-less Browns. Yes, no Myles Garrett, and they were still able to sack our quarterback 5 times and get 10 quarterback hits on Carson Wentz. And as we all know, the Philadelphia Eagles allowed 40 sacks in 2020, which ranks 32. However, when you flip-flop that same predicament, the Eagles have had 34 sacks on the season, which ranks 2nd in the NFL, and we have hit the quarterback 76 times, which ranks 3rd in the NFL. And when you look at Seattle Seahawks offensive line, although Russell Wilson has been cooking for the majority of this season, he's actually coming off a bad stretch of turnover football. He started to get that turned around against the Arizona Cardinals, but the Seahawks allow 33 sacks on the season, which ranks 30th. And when you look at the Philadelphia Eagles D-line, like I said, 2nd in sacks, 3rd in quarterback hits. So right there is where this game is going to be won. Can we keep our quarterback upright? And can we get after Russell Wilson, who, like I said, is coming off a stretch of football where he was a turnover machine? Now, they did get their running game back and Carlos Hyde and stuff, so that's starting to make them, come back to being a balanced offense. But when you look at this pass defense for the Seattle Seahawks, this is something that the Eagles must take advantage of. When you look at it, the defense is allowing 343.7 passing yards per game, which ranks dead last, 32nd in the NFL, and they're allowing opposing quarterbacks to average, I said average, a 98.4 quarterback rating when playing against them. So If you look at this Philadelphia Eagles team and the way Carson Wentz is struggling, this is a game that if you can't come out and establish the passing game against this defense, well then you physically just can't get it done in the NFL, because the Cowboys defense was one of the worst and we weren't able to take advantage of that. But I will admit that they got some of these guys back in Sean Lee, in Awuzie, just players that could have maybe, made them play a little bit better. Plus, it's a division game. You always get up for a division opponent. So I'm going to chalk that up to just being a division game. And our offense was struggling, which has been struggling all year. But this is a game we must be able to execute the passing game. And actually, this is one I'm kind of nervous about, running the ball. Something the Philadelphia Eagles do not do. I repeat, just won't do it the right amount of times in a game. But this is a team who's actually been very good against the run. They're holding opposing running backs to 3.6 yards per carry, which ranks 4th in the NFL, and only 91.2 yards per game on the ground, which also ranks 4th in the NFL. So guys like the Cowboys, guys like the Browns, guys even like the Giants, where the Eagles had success running the ball, we failed to do it the right amount of times. Now, I'm not saying abandon the run, because no matter how good the run defense is, you have to run the ball. That is what allows the offensive line to get a break from blocking for Carson Wentz. It keeps the defensive line second guessing, where they can't pin their ears back and just get at your quarterback. It sets off the timing of the D-line. A lot of things it does well, and we don't do it, especially in games we're successful. So I can see Doug Peterson coming out here, trying to run the ball and getting stuffed in the first quarter and just abandoning it. Because we all know if Miles Sanders fumbles, which it's kind of concerning because he's only played 7 games and fumbled 3 times this year. That's not like Miles Sanders, but a fumble, a couple stuffs in the early part of the game, and Doug Peterson runs away from the run game. He knows how to run away from the run game, but not stay with it. So I'm expecting a pass-heavy performance, a game plan, and I wouldn't be as mad to pass the ball, especially if we had success, because this team is dreadful against the pass. But like I said, rolling the quarterback out is something that Doug Peterson continues to say and fails to do. However, just regular rolling out with some play action, but to do play action, you got to make sure Seattle fears our run, which if we stick with it, they probably would fear it, because Miles Sanders is averaging 5.7 yards per carry, or maybe still 6 something. I think it did drop down in this last game. I'm not sure. I know that he's second in the NFL. I still believe in yards per carry, and we don't utilize him in the way we can. In the passing game, in the running game, it just doesn't happen. But again, stick with the run, regardless of how good Seattle is, which is 4th in the NFL. You got to establish that so you can move the pocket, roll Carson Wentz out, get these linebackers to jump up, and then you can take your shot in the second and third level of this defense. But again, I can see a 45-50 a pass attempt type game, and I mean, it's all going to come down to, can we get some type of moving the football with this passing game? Because whether it's just a horrible play calling, Carson Wentz missing open players, we have been in a big struggle when it comes to passing the ball. I mean, we rank like 25th in passing yards. We rank like 24th in points per game. We are in the upper 20s in yards per game when it comes to the pass, points per game. We just don't do nothing right on offense. And the one thing we do right, where I believe rushing in the NFL, we are at number 12, which is top 15. We don't do it enough. We're top 12 in the NFL, but I believe we're in the bottom half of the teams for most rushing attempts. So we do it really well, just not that often. So this is going to be a tough matchup. Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks have owned us for the longest time. I mean, these last couple games have been close. Whether it be with Carson Wentz or with Josh McCown, they've been more of a defensive game. I don't see how this could be a defensive game. You got a red-hot offense coming into Philly. who are, by the way, 5.5-point favorites over the Philadelphia Eagles at home. But they're coming in here to pass and run all over us. And you would think a struggling offense should be able to spark something up against this defense. I mean, every single team they played, they let their quarterback go off. It's a fantasy day galore when you play the Seattle Seahawks defense. But let it be the Eagles to find a way to make this team look good on defense. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I think it could happen. So, I mean, when it comes down to it, I just need the Philadelphia Eagles to show us some fight. We still are in this NFC least. We just saw the Cowboys get absolutely destroyed on Thanksgiving, which actually made my turkey a little bit better. It looks like the Washington football team or the New York Giants are teams that are trying to rally for this division. The Cowboys look lost. The Philadelphia Eagles last two games look lost, but I'm expecting to see some fight in this game because it's a primetime game. You don't want to get embarrassed on primetime. And I think the Eagles need to get up for this game just because of what Seattle was able to do against us for the longest time. The bulletin board material that DK Metcalf came out and voted that the Eagles should bench Carson Wentz. Now, I know a lot of people are saying, like, even he thinks Carson Wentz stinks. No, if you are playing a team, why would you give them advice to make them better? If he thought that this team would be better under Jalen Hurts, he wouldn't have voted that. So he's pretty much saying, put Hurts in, give up on your season if you want to. So look, Carson Wentz has a great opportunity to come out here and just get the job done with his receivers. And it's just going to have to be a wait and see approach because, like I said, this team has to show me something. From the coaching to the quarterback to the O-line, all that stuff. And as you guys already know, Lane Johnson will not be in Eagles uniform for the rest of the season. He is done with that ankle injury. So they are going to move Jason Peters to right guard, move Jordan Mailata back at left tackle where he should have been. And I'm not sure what they're going to do for right tackle. Hopefully our guy Jack Driscoll is healthy because he actually started to play very well at that position. But again, another reshuffled offensive line for a team who's actually getting better in the pass rush. It's going to be a game. I mean, every single Eagles game has been mind-boggling. Whether we should win and we don't, or we take it down to the wire. There's no such thing as just an easy victory for the Philadelphia Eagles in 2020. So, like I said, this team got to show me I'm not giving up because we're in the NFC East, the NFC least, whatever you want to call it. Every single game day, I'm going to get right sucked back in, right back into the mix saying, let's go. I can feel it. We could do it. And then I'll realize what happens is happening and we'll do it all over again. Like I said, the Philadelphia Eagles got me hooked on phonics. And so when they play, I will cheer. But listen, Jeffrey Lurie has already talked about making changes, and I think win, lose, or draw, this NFC East is so bad, the Philadelphia Eagles can't go forward with this recipe because right now we got a losing recipe. Whether it's Doug, whether it's Jim, whether it's Howie, whether it's Carson, things need to be changed, and it's going to start with Jeff Lurie dropping the hammer in this organization. As simple as that. But on that note, the Philadelphia Eagles need to just show me fight against the Seattle Seahawks. I need to see Carson Wentz perform. I need to see this team come together, regardless if there's going to be changes or not. Let's go try our best to get a win on Monday night, to just try to change the culture of this losing season we got. But let me know all your thoughts in the comment section. And yes, we are doing another $25 giveaway, whether it be a gift card or to your PayPal. I mean, not PayPal, Cash App. I want you guys to tell me how many yards Jalen Reagor is going to have. How many yards will Jalen Reagor have? And the person who gets closest will win a $25 gift card or $25 deposit in the Cash App you provide. Jalen Reagor's yards. And also, just let me know all your thoughts on this game, this organization's, the changes that can or will be made at the end of this season, and do you still have any faith in the Philadelphia Eagles? Until next time, I go by Philly Mike. This is the Philly Talk Podcast. You know what time it is. We out.